Can a haplogroup prove you descend from Abraham? Or are we watching modern genetics stretch beyond its scientific limits? Right now, DNA charts are circulating across social media. J1, J2, E1, B1B. Maps are being posted, verses are being cited, and the conclusion is bold. This proves ancient Israelite identity, but that claim does not survive structured examination. A haplogroup is a migratory marker, nothing more. It traces one line, paternal or maternal, across deep time. It does not authenticate covenant status. It does not define tribal inheritance. It does not reconstruct an entire people. Yet it is being treated as theological proof. That is the methodological error. Today we separate migration from covenant, population genetics from scripture, data from interpretation. If you value structured analysis over reaction, subscribe. This channel examines claims methodically. Let us begin with geography. The phrase, "it was not Africa," appears frequently. That statement assumes modern continental borders applied 2,000 to 4,000 years ago. They did not. Egypt, Kush, and the Levant operated within overlapping trade corridors and migratory networks. Modern continental language is being imposed onto ancient geography. That is anachronism. A modern border cannot reconstruct ancient demographic movement. Once that error enters the argument, everything downstream weakens. Haplogroups J and E are not tribal signatures. They are markers of population movement across North Africa, the Levant, and the Horn. Genetic clustering does not equal covenant identity. No modern population carries a sealed Iron Age genetic profile. When migratory markers are presented as theological inheritance, the method exceeds its limits. Now here is what most viral posts never mention. If Abraham lived roughly 4,000 years ago, that represents approximately 120 to 160 generations. Every generation doubles genealogical ancestors. After 6 to 8 generations, identifiable autosomal segments diminish rapidly. After more than 100 generations, measurable DNA from one specific ancestor approaches statistical zero, not low, zero. You may be genealogically descended from someone. That does not mean you carry measurable genetic segments from that person. That distinction dismantles most Abrahamic haplogroup claims. There is no verified DNA sample from Abraham, none from any biblical patriarch or matriarch. Without a reference genome, there is nothing to compare against. Assigning J1 or J2 to Abraham is speculative modeling, not demonstrable evidence. Even if ancient remains were discovered, one paternal marker would not define an entire covenant community after millennia of migration, intermarriage, and demographic change. A single Y chromosome is one narrow branch of an enormous genealogical tree. It is not the forest. Some argue DNA testing is restricted to conceal discontinuity. Religious law defines Jewish identity matrilineally. Civil regulation of genetic testing relates to privacy, medical oversight, and lineage complications, not ancestral concealment. Genetic continuity is studied through population modeling, not patriarchal remains. Founder DNA is not required to model population clusters. That claim misunderstands genetics entirely. Genetics can track migration corridors. It can model admixture. It can identify deep ancestral clustering. Genetics cannot prove covenant status. It cannot authenticate tribal inheritance. It cannot assign Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob to a modern haplogroup. It cannot retroactively certify theological lineage. That boundary matters. When science is asked to carry theological conclusions, it collapses under interpretive weight. Conversations about ancient Israelite identity are being reduced to two things: a map and a DNA chart. But a haplogroup is not a covenant certificate. Migration markers trace deep population movement across thousands of years. They do not authenticate paternal or maternal covenantal descent. There is no verified DNA from Abraham. Even if such DNA existed, one paternal or maternal marker would not define an entire people across millennia of generational dilution. Assigning Abraham to J1, J2, or any modern haplogroup is scientifically unprovable and methodologically unsound. The issue is not identity suppression. It is methodological discipline. Are we analyzing data or assigning meaning beyond its limits? And if you want the extended breakdown, including the full dilution model and sampling bias discussion, join us on Substack. The full expansion is beyond the wall. This has been a production of the End Time Dispatches by the Last Witness for Black News and Views.